Welcome to Haps. Today we are talking about the Pella Community Center and the friends that want to save that historic building, at least two of them, Arvin and Patty Van Zanti. I've known them both for years. They're good people, certainly very Pella-centric. And before we go on, I'm probably not going to comment much beyond asking questions during this podcast, as my beautiful bride works for the city of Pella, and she has specifically worked on that building, done some work inside that building, and I don't want to create any kind of conflict. And
conflict is fun.
Conflict is normally fun, but I have orders. I don't want to disobey my orders from home. So.
I don't blame you at all. So
Yeah.
I will create the conflict. You can remain neutral. However you need to do that. And actually, I've had a nice hour and a half long conversation with these two, and coming up to the show, and I don't think there's any conflict really. I think it's just a conversation that needs to happen.
It does, yeah. It's just been the community center. I know, speaking factually, they've been discussing it for a very long time. The future of that building. It means a lot to some people in town. It doesn't mean as much to a lot of other people in town. And, the city council just kind of has to decide where they want to put their tax dollar, everybody's tax dollars, not just those in favor, those against. So,
well, it's you have to be good stewards of money and public dollars. I understand that, but at some point, you have to make decisions.
yeah.
And that's basically what these people are pushing for is, hey, it's time to look at all the options and make these decisions.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It is time to make some decisions. It's just hard to make tough decisions, but that's tough for everybody. And
Well, that's why we elect these people.
exactly. That's what I was just going to say, man. It's like that comes with the job. You wanted to be on the council. Making tough decisions is part of that.
Yep, absolutely.
That's any council. That's not just specific to Pella. That's any elected office.
That's any elected office.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills,
Good.
pay for the coffee that we're going to drink, and then we'll be back with our guests.
Okay. Welcome back to Haps. This is Steve. He's Monty, and we're sitting down with Arvin and Patty Van Zanti talking about the community center. And as I said in the intro, I'll just be asking questions because Marcy, my bride, works for the city, and she has worked inside that building, and I was given instructions not to create any conflict for her. So we're fans of conflict, Monty and me normally, but I don't want to have a conflict at home. So
I understand that completely.
And I will say, this is Arvin, I will say that we are working with the city on supporting this project, and have been asked by the city to determine the level of support within the community. So this is in conjunction with the city.
And what is the level that you guys are at right now? I know there's a council meeting as we record this. There's a council meeting Tuesday night. So where are you at as far as like the level of support the city's looking for?
Well, Tuesday night isn't a problem. That they'll be dealing with the community center, though, in March.
Yeah.
We're not on the agenda for the month of February. We've got February till February 28th to get all our ducks in a row on our pledges and be able to make a report to the city of what our partnership would look like.
The city has a series of proposals available to them. One is what I would call a bare bones proposal. I'm not even sure that they're looking heavily at that at this point, which would be just minimum they have to do to keep the building going for 20 years. What we're looking at is two proposals. One is a full renovation of the community center that was developed by SEH, which is, in 2020, when we first did our proposal, was about a $10 million amount. Now it's closer to $12 million because of the rising costs and construction and inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a full renovation of the building. Understand the electrical, HVAC, plumbing, that's all dating back to about 1950, and that really needs to be replaced. This would also then replace interior and exterior finishes, make the building a resource available for the next 20 to 30 years. We're looking at the same kind of a renovation of the existing building, but also adding an addition to the west side that would allow us to put a full-size elevator in that could reach all 4 floors. That west side would give you direct access to the gym, so we could finally have handicap access to the gym. Also, all the other floors, full access to those floors. It would come off of Broadway, basically a street level access, so it's almost no incline, easy access to the first floor of the building, then down to the gym floor and up to the other 2 floors. Adds additional space for additional features and I think 8 new restrooms, including 2 which would be semi-configured as locker rooms for the gym, so that we address the capacity problems when there are large group meetings in there, the auditorium, for example. Also turn the dining hall into a more usable space with a fully certified kitchen, so that families could use it for receptions and meetings of different kinds, and provide a better throughput, better walkthrough of the building, allow the Art Center to expand in more space, provide more meeting space, public meeting space, high-tech conference rooms, things like that. So we have a lot of things we'd like to do beyond just making the building survivable for the next 20 years. We want to make it a true resource for the rest of the community, for the next 20 years.
And we also want to be able to do this to make for the 21st century, but to make it to honoring the historical significance of the building as well. And since it's now on the historical registry to respect, there's a lot of oak and great doors and baseboards and stuff in there that we'd like to work with the company that can respect that, rather than just gut it and redo everything from top to bottom as well.
And as far as commitment, well, one of the main questions I have is, you got that proposal in 2020, it's 2022, but we only recently had a new council. Do you know why it's been taking so long to decide what to do with it?
We first presented to the council early in 2020, and you're right, we're on our 3rd city council now and our 2nd mayor. And we presented that proposal to them at that time. They decided that they wanted to take a larger look at the recreational facility requirements in the community. Ultimately, that council decided they wanted to separate the recreational facility from the community center, but that meant they had to take time to develop a concept for a recreational center, which they have since done. And then this new council, some of the members have said, well, what if we were to build a new theater? So they wanted to take a look at that. So that delayed us again while they put together a proposal for a new performance venue that would be near the Bollengracht, and put that proposal together. And basically for the last 3 years we have been kind of waiting on, well, what if we did this? Well, what if we did that? And we think we finally reached the point that the council said we need to make a decision. And that's what we're pushing against right now.
And what are your thoughts on expanding the theater, given the concerns expressed by Cindy Atkins with the Opera House? What are your thoughts about that? I know you're not looking to compete with the Opera House, or?
Oh, we never have.
Mm-hmm.
The community center never has, and the Union Street Players in the auditorium there has had a really great working relationship with the Opera House. In general, we already within 30 miles have 3 major 600-seat performing arts centers, of which there's 2 of them are all 3 are supported by the school systems they're in, and 2 of them for the public, Knoxville and Oskaloosa, continue to struggle to even make ends meet and fill their houses, even with the support of the school systems. The Pella Christian does a great job with theirs. We worked with their theater group very closely as well, and they don't fill their 600-seat auditorium except when they have a musical with lots and lots of kids in it. And graduation ceremonies.
And let me say as well that although both my wife and I have had a long-term association with the community theater here, we do not speak for Union Street Players. We're not here as Union Street Player representatives. There are members in community theater would always like larger spaces. No question about that. They'd always like more facilities, more capacity. However, it's been our experience that when you get large auditoriums, those public venues need the support of commercial acts in order to be able to support them.
Yeah.
And community theaters are all volunteers. They don't raise the kind of money that the commercial acts do. They're not set up in that kind of environment, so it becomes difficult for them to even participate or to use those facilities. And I think it would actually be disadvantageous for the community theater. Could hurt the community theater a lot to have another public venue, not to mention the Opera House, which is already doing that commercial public venue route.
As a charity, as a nonprofit, and they continue to struggle, but Cindy does a fabulous job of making that relevant. And Performing Arts Center in the location they were talking about would kill the Opera House. Just kill them.
Yeah, we all have that concern. We certainly don't want to lose the Opera House. So, as far as your fundraising, you talked about putting in a new elevator. Are there any grants out there to help make it more handicap accessible, ADA compliant, what have you?
We believe there are grants available. There's certain issues because we're a nonprofit. We don't own the building. The city owns the building, so there's certain things that they can't receive grants on. But we believe that, especially in the renovation part, that there are grants available to help with that.
And that'd be part of our partnership as the Friends of the Pella Community Centers. We could make grants available that would not be available to the city.
Yeah, I know that the gym is very difficult to get to for anybody, and it certainly should be utilized. So
It's been it was a favorite resource of the homeschoolers in the community for small family gatherings for family use. And it's been a sorely missed feature of the community center for the last 2 years.
On our Friends of the Pella Community Center.org, they have a testament from Greg, the gentleman that works at George's, and what the gym meant to him. Not only to the homeschoolers in general, but young mothers and children, people with young children, they've sorely missed it. And it's so available at the center of town, and it's close, intimate space. And the Heritage Gym has its own pleasures. And with the remodel, we would be able to open up the windows that have been covered over so there'd be more light, there'd be access, there'd be, we hope, a toddler playroom so the little kids wouldn't be underfoot with the rowdy 10-year-olds. And they also use it for birthday parties, and the young moms in the wintertime just take the kids. A member of our board is also a homeschooler, but she has 6 children, and she says you just go in visit with your friends, throw some mats on there, and turn them loose, and then they're all wore out by supper time. So, and it's been sorely missed. And it really wouldn't be that complicated to bring it up to snuff, because the reason it's closed down is because the ceiling tiles were falling off, and the glue is covered with asbestos. They've had engineers, and we've had our architectural engineers in to look. Its sound is $1, and there's smarter ways to put the ceiling back up, but that's the only thing that's been the holdup is
Basically, the city has deferred working on the gym because they weren't sure what they were going to do with the community center. If we can just go get with a commitment there, we can start moving forward on doing those corrections.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned how it's at the center of town. Is that a big selling point for your organization? Is that it's right in the center of town, easier to get to than the sports park would be?
Yeah, and it's not an either or. We're not against the rec center, and I think the location of a big, sensible rec center is kind of smart.
Yeah.
But that still isn't at the center park. You have to get in a car. You have to drive out there. They're going to have to make money at it, so it's going to cost something to do. And why this is not, it's just cozy and small town.
Within a 3-block radius of the community center, you have retirement centers, you have restaurants, you have shopping, you have the public library, you got Central College. You're not very far away from Lincoln School. You're within walking distance for a lot of different services, a lot of different people. And think we need to. Well, I think we need to also emphasize that it is not just gym. It's not just theater. There's the art center there, all the programs they provide. There's social services on the third floor, all the services they provide. There are public meeting rooms. It is a center for community involvement on a number of levels.
And right next to the library.
Yeah. Right next to the library is great.
Library, and I've got a lot of papers, a lot of research has been done on how to economic development for rural American small towns. And Pella's already got a big leg up, but the real solid thing that they say is important is the development of your historic districts, your historic buildings, art and culture within walking distance. It attracts tourism. It provides, like anybody going to the art center or going to the gym or going to Union Street Players Play, they're going to shop uptown, they're going to eat lunch or dinner in the local area, and it also attracts, they've done the research, and it really attracts creative employees, helps retain them and to employ them and attract them to the area.
I know one question that everybody that wants to renovate and expand, they might not think about like the ongoing cost, with the extra wing and stuff. What if Joe taxpayers worried about the additional cost to keep that facility going? What are your thoughts on that?
Actually, I don't think it'd be that much of an additional cost, because when you remodel and you get the HVAC updated and stuff, you're going to have much more efficient. Right now, they're cooling it with window air conditioners. They're paying to have somebody, they cross their fingers and pray every time they turn on the boiler every year, and they're so excited when it's okay. I think it'd be more efficient, and you wouldn't have quite so much wasted with window air conditioning and with new windows and new facilities. I don't think it'd add that much to the cost.
Part of the plans include complete replacement of the lighting system to a low cost alternative.
LEDs.
LED probably, yes.
And then the HVAC, they've been looking at zones and be more efficient. And we've had a couple people say, well, why don't they put solar up on the roof?
Or geothermal.
Yeah, or geothermal. But might a little be hard to dig around. It's a little under control. But there are options there, and I don't
know if most of your community is aware. Crossroads and Union Street Players both pay lease costs for the buildings, for the use of the rooms they do. Union Street Players shares the gross receipts from their productions. So the groups that are there and people are paying to use the art center, they are all paying fees towards the maintenance of the building.
So if you expand services and can provide more high quality and more, and with our expansion, there's like over 6,000 square feet of rentable space will be made available.
And that could certainly bring in some more revenue for yeah.
So can we count on the Haps studio being at the top of this thing so we can overlook everything from the top?
Sure.
What's your commitment level?
150 a month, maybe.
That'd be fabulous, because not only the commitment, I'm glad we talked about the commitment. The commitment, we like the big pledges, but what's really important is how many people support this.
Exactly, it's community. It's not just major corporations.
Yeah.
We're looking for two numbers, essentially. One is the dollar amount of what kind of support the community could raise, and that includes those big foundations and companies. The second is just people saying, yes, we support the community center. And we've established a website. It's friendsofthepella.org. That's available, where you can go and find out more information about the project. And you can also commit to a potential first indicate your support, and second, if you're willing to give us a potential pledge. We're not raising money. A capital fund campaign wouldn't start until we know what the city's commitment level is, but we're asking people to give us an idea of potentially what they would be willing to support, basically over a 3 to 5 year campaign window. And that's, if you go to the web page, there's a Get Involved tab, where you can just send us, basically it sends us an email and says, this is what I'd be willing to support. And we're going to collect those numbers so that we can give them to the city council. They've asked us for that information by the end of February, so we're in kind of a rush. And we're looking to get the word out to as many people as possible.
So from the website, let me get this straight. When you go to friendsofpellacommunitycenter.org, then click Get Involved, and that's where you fill out that information.
Correct.
For the city. And that gives you name, email, phone, how much you'd pledge, and then send info, and that information gets sent to you, and you store
Yes,
that.
we're collecting it, and to be honest with you, I'm putting a little spreadsheet where I can total up the number of people that have responded and the amount that they'd be willing to pledge.
Excellent.
And this does give us a list in case we have a capital campaign
Yeah.
that we can go back and talk on a more personal level. But we're kind of under a time constraint here. And our pie in the sky, gosh, we'd like to go for $6 million.
Yeah.
Where we think we'd like to be is the city do the renovation of the building. It's a city building. It's a lot of the renovation's been deferred for way too long.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make that. And if you will commit to the full renovation, we will attempt to raise the money for the addition. And we believe the community will back us on that.
And have you heard much from like individual council members about how they feel about it?
We're on our third council now.
I mean, the current council?
So yes, there is support for retaining the community center. We have some folks that are supporting the project, where others we're not sure about. And I suspect they're not sure until they see what the community support is.
True. You've been kind of quiet, Monty, so that's why I keep looking at you.
Aren't you supposed to throw in the humorous ad-libs here?
Usually I do. So yeah, we're talking about the community center at it's 912. What's the address of it again?
Union Street,
Union Street.
which is why it's Union Street Place.
712 Union Street.
712.
And yeah, I'm looking at the website right now, and it's the West Wing is a great idea. I mean, it's all describe that to us because we're on the radio instead of pictures. We can't see it, but I guess what really caught my attention is the fact that it's all glass and you can see the old facade through that new glass addition.
We have gotten the building has been placed on the historic registry, and it's really the exterior that's placed on the historic registry because the interior's already been remodeled multiple times. So
Remodeled multiple times.
Yeah.
and so that's a concept that was put together by Shemmer and Associates, our architectural firm out of Des Moines that specializes in historic preservation.
They were responsible for the renovation and the extension of the Hoyt Sherman place in Des Moines.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the goal of there is to make the building flow with the existing building. There are architectural elements, the brick, the tops of the columns, but there's a lot of glass so that you can see the west facade even from the outside. So you can still see that part of the building, and at night that place would be spectacular.
And have you guys, I know it used to be a high school, the community center. Do you guys have like a list of Pella High alumni that have maybe moved away?
Yes, we do. Now, contact, that's another thing entirely. And Eunice Kuiper told me this week when I was talking to her that the class of 39 are all gone now. But that's a significant class because those are the people that fought the Second World War.
Yeah.
And were the founders and have made Pella what it is today. And they learned it at the high school. So, but yes, we have people working on lists for the capital campaign.
And so we're interested not only in the alumni, but also the children and grandchildren of the alumni.
Arvin himself went to junior high there, and his father graduated from there in 40.
I went to junior high much later than that, but
Yes.
So that, yes, there's a lot of folks that have a lot of connection with that facility, with that building. And we think that's why we call it the heart of Pella. One, because it's centrally located, but second, because it's so important to so many people. We want to make it a treasure from our past and a resource for our future.
Absolutely. So what's the best way, other than the website? Is there like a contact number or an email that you'd like us to share?
There's a Facebook page.
Oh, there's a
There's a
Facebook.
Facebook
Okay.
page at Pella Community Center, and I'm just trying to think of what our email address is. It's Pella,
Pella CC Friends
yes,
at
Pella's
gmail.com.
PellaCCFriends at
gmail.com.
Okay.
Which is where actually, when you're on the web page and you go to get involved, that's where the email gets sent with the information you provided us. There's also a second place on that web page which says contact us, and you can go ahead and send us a message directly from there.
Okay. Have we covered everything today, Monty? Do you believe that?
We have, yeah. Yep.
Do you guys have anything more you wish to make sure we get out there to help you spread the word?
Well, actually, that'd be the main thing, is that because we're working with a very limited amount of time, help spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, let grandma know. We'll be happy to take pledges from anywhere in the United States. But if
And
you're on
we have.
Facebook,
My cousin in California sent us money, so sent us a pledge. So
if you're on Facebook, please go ahead and share that. We originally thought about writing a letter that we would send to everybody in town, and we visited with Derek DeHaan at Brand Appeal and some of our younger board members, and they said, nobody reads letters. Oh no, you got to get on social media. Well, we're not social media people, but by gosh, help us use it. Thank you.
Yeah, and social media can also be kind of hit and miss, so it's a good thing you came on here with us. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
very much, and thank you very much for giving us time to help get the word out.
happy to do it.
yeah, Steve knows how excited I am that you guys started the
Yeah.
Marion County Express. Anyway, I've said that many times. So
Well, excellent. Well, thank you both for coming here today.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, Steve, for asking all the questions.
Oh, no worries.
I'm still getting over the bug that I had this past week, and still kind of foggy in the brain. Could be my age, but I think it's the bug. I'll blame the flu.
That's okay. We've been talking about the community center for a good number of years here in Pella, and I, like, speaking just as me, nobody else, I would like to see some resolution come soon so that everybody can hopefully move on. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you to your wife for letting you do this.
Yeah.
All right, this has been the Haps for Monty and Steve. We will see you next time.
you so much.
Did we get out what we needed to?
Yeah.